In today's video, I talk you out of competing.
All by myself.
What's going on, guys? This is Paul Ravella, ProPhysique.com. It is another beautiful day here in Florida. I'm looking at the sun outside. My son's in the pool, but I'm here doing a video for y'all because I love you. And today's video topic, again, just comes from a place where I generally just got off the phone, got off an email. I really like to give like real world feedback on exactly what's going on in my mind, kind of wearing my heart on my sleeve. And today's video topic is about competing. I'm dealing a lot now with competitors. It seems like my clientele, which used to be like, you know, maybe 30-40% competitors and mostly general population, is shifting in the other direction. And I'm focusing, not intentionally, but perhaps reputation, perhaps whatever. I'm just getting a lot of inquiries and a lot of focus with competitors these days. And so it seems like a lot of these topics are going towards the competition. And this one in particular is about not competing and my thoughts on that, because the stress, the peer pressure, the idea that we need to compete to be successful, to be happy, to be involved in the fitness lifestyle has become pretty common, and for a good reason. I mean, it's definitely a good way to get into the lifestyle. And as I talked about before, like when you're starting your business, if you want to be a coach for competitors, I absolutely feel it's essential. You could never really coach someone successfully without having gone through what they're going to go through, without being able to relate to them. So in that perspective, yeah, I do think competition is very valuable, you know, especially if you want to coach people. But this is more from the perspective of people that are not sure if they should compete. If they're thinking, man, I'd kind of like to get on stage, but I'm not really sure. Here's my rule of thumb. When I'm talking to a potential competitor or someone that I know, someone in my life, someone that I don't know, someone that emails me and they're interested in competing and we start talking, if I can convince them not to compete, then they don't want it bad enough. Competing, although so rewarding and so beneficial on so many levels, is also a huge commitment, and it's a huge stress and strain. And while I love going through it when the time is right, when I put my mind to it, I also understand that for myself and for everyone else that gets into competition, it causes some changes to happen in your life, and you have to be prepared for them, because no one, when you get on stage, is going to care about why you missed your cardio, why you went off your diet, who got sick, who got hurt, you know, did you get injured? No one cares about that. The judges are just judging physiques. They're not judging anything else. They're not judging your life. They're not judging how hard you grind or how much you do, right? So we all come from different backgrounds. We all want to put in different levels of work. But if you can be convinced not to compete, if you're not 100% sure about it, do not do it. Don't commit to it. Make sure you're all in. One of the best ways to determine if you're all in is go to a show. If you go to a show and you see somebody on stage and you think, wow, I really want to do that, and you can visualize yourself getting up there, hitting a few poses, right? You know, or just being under those lights, and that gets you excited, then do it. That's what drove me. Going to my first show, I did that show the next year. That was for me what changed in my mindset. Was like, I always thought about bodybuilding as this certain thing, and then when I went and actually watched it in person, my perceptions were quite skewed. So if you're not sure about competing, if you're not sure about how you feel about it, and you haven't been to a show, well then you need to get your butt down to a show. Look it up on the interwebs. There's a whole Google machine there. You just type in the city you live in and bodybuilding, and if there's one near you, believe me, you'll find it. And what that'll do is that'll give you a different perspective, because I only knew it through like videos and pictures before I had been. And when you go and you see it, I think the biggest misperception that I had was that everyone was huge and jacked and shredded, and it's not. There's a huge variation in the competitors' conditions, size, and you don't need to be Phil Heath to have fun at a bodybuilding show. You don't need to be Courtney King. But there's also that avenue of it. So like there are some people that are gifted and they're going to do well, but you don't have to have that to compete, right? You don't have to have that to enjoy the process, because that's where the real value is the process of going through contest prep, because you're going to make some major life changes. Okay, you're going to have to learn how to manage your time a little bit better. You're going to have to get to the gym. You're going to have to do your cardio. You're going to have to hit your meals, and you're going to have to do all of that while you have your other life going on. You can't quit your job. You can't quit your kids. You can't quit your relationships. You should never start to alter your life in such a way that you become a worse person. Competing should enhance who you are, not devalue who you are to people around you. Now, there may be some relationships that become strained, or you find that no longer fit your lifestyle, because honestly, when I got into competing, my life changed in a lot of ways. You know, I didn't go out drinking as much. I didn't play as many social sports as much. You know, my focus became more about me. But having said that, the relationships I had, the good ones, got stronger. All right, so that's something to look at. But if you can be convinced that it's not a good time for you to get on stage, that you maybe shouldn't do it, don't do it. You know, I just had a show this weekend, and I had some clients there, and they came from all different walks of life. But Larissa has 2 young children, and they're both under 4. She's a full-time mommy, works, and still found time to compete in the gym. And you know, then I have the opposite end of the spectrum. You know, I had Kayla, who's young and going to school, and you know, so it's just a different level of responsibilities. But they both have a passion. They both made it work, and just like that, next year when I compete, I'm going to be dealing with a child. I'm going to be dealing with a career, and I'm going to make it work. Why? Because bodybuilding, although important, it's not my priority, right? So I'm still going to keep my clients, I'm still going to keep my family, I'm still going to keep my relationships the forefront. But I've learned how to manage my time, manage my schedule, make this lifestyle a part of that. So my message for you guys, don't compete if you're even thinking about not competing. If it's not something that's going to burn in your soul all the way through stage, then don't do it, okay? You're going to need that. There's going to be some days that you question everything you're doing. And the only way to get through those days is to have pure willpower, because you can't wait to do it, and you can't be talked out of it, and it's just something you're passionate about. We all have friends that have different passions in life that we don't understand. And if competing and being a fit lifestyle person is part of your passion, then do it. Be a part of it. Enjoy it. And if not, don't feel like there's a need to do it, right? We can all get in good shape and take some pictures. You don't need to get on stage. You don't need to put on a bikini suit and a tan. You don't need to put on posing trunks and do bodybuilding. You don't need to put on board shorts and do men's physique. Those are not requirements to live a happy, healthy, fit life, or to even be involved in the fitness industry. You don't need to compete. And if you're not certain about it, get to a show. Check it out. Otherwise, just keep doing what you're doing. Hell, go to a powerlifting meet. Maybe you like that. Maybe you like the CrossFit. I don't know. Maybe you like Bikram yoga. Again, these are all awesome pursuits, but just do what you love. Don't feel like there's any pressure on you to do that. As a coach, when I get an inquiry and I can sense some trepidation, some hesitation, or I talk to somebody in the gym, I sense that, that's my first go-to, is go check out a show and see it. If you see that and it just lights you up inside, you know, I know a lot of people go to a show and they immediately like, I'm doing that. And then sometimes they do their first show and they're like, wow, they're hooked. And then sometimes they do their first show and they're like, you know what? Maybe not. Maybe a few years later. It's not for me right now. You know, like, doing is the fastest way to find out if it's for you. Attending is probably the second fastest way. So that's my video for today, guys. Just wanted to give some feedback to those that may be struggling with the idea of competing as a necessity. Should you do it? Those are my thoughts. I want you guys to have an awesome Wednesday, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All by myself.